Sullivan.
Thank you, Sheriff. Welcome to everyone tonight. What looks to be a stormy night. I think they have a tornado spotted there, so. Thank you, Sheriff, for calling the meeting to order, and we'll first have the invocation. Commissioner Crawford, would you deliver the invocation?
Let's bow for prayer, please. Father God, how grateful we are to be able to be here tonight for this commission meeting. Father, we know that it has been different in the past. We're just thankful for the good health you've given us to be here. Pray for those that are still needing a touch from you, that they might be in our presence in the near future. And we do again lift up those people that are in harm's way. Pray your guidance and watch care will be over them. Bless this time that we have together. May all the decisions we make be for the best of our community and our county. All of this I pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Larry.
Let's remember Terry Hart, brother.
Terry, as most of you know, is home out of the hospital, doing well. Talk to him about every other day, so thank you for reminding me.
Thanks. Yeah.
Sure, would you listen to the pledge?
Ready, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. And Commissioner Crawford, it's great to see you looking so well tonight. Great to have you back in the saddle. Here's everyone is in their seats.
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, would you take the roll of County Commissioner?
Has everyone checked in? 22 present, 2 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Vance is on his way from Atlanta if he can get into Tri-Cities Airport. So, and again, Commissioner Parker Road is doing well. Next up on our agenda is the approval of minutes from the previous commission meeting. Those have been spread electronically. We have a motion for adoption by Commissioner Crawford, second by Commissioner Morrell. Any corrections, additions, or seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The minutes are adopted. As I mentioned last meeting, since we are distributing these electronically, if there's no objection from the commission, we may put the minutes on the consent calendar in the future, as some of our fellows do. Next up, special guests and proclamations. We've got a lot of special guests here tonight. I would fail if I tried to introduce everybody, but we'll have a proclamation and a guest speaker when we get into our resolutions agenda. So again, thank you all for coming to the commission meeting tonight. And we're happy to have you here. And the next item is confirmations, appointments, and elections. And if I may, I will read the appointment of a member of the Bluntville Utility District in Sullivan County, Tennessee, whereas the Bluntville Utility District Board of Commissioners does hereby certify the county mayor pursuant to TCA 7-82-307 that a vacancy has occurred upon said utility board by virtue of expiration of a term. And whereas the Bloomingdale District Board of Commissioners further certifies that the nominee, Roger L. Warner, is willing and qualified to fill said vacancy. Now therefore be it ordered, adjudged, and decreed by Sullivan County Mayor Richard Venable, TCA 07, that nominee, Roger L. Warner, shall be reappointed to the Plumpton Utility District Board of Commissioners, term of August 1st, 2019 to July 31st, 2023. Said order confirmed and entered into the record of the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners the 20th day of June 2019. Appreciate the service of Mr. Warner. He's been there for many years, and that's a great utility district out there. Next up, we have public comments. Commissioner Cross, if you would see if we have folks signed up to speak. Since we don't have any planning and zoning issues tonight, I'm going to assume everybody wants to address the commission on the subject of their choice. I would remind you that, as shown on our screens, we ask you to keep it to your comments to close to 3 minutes. We don't enforce that rule strictly, but at 5, I'll give you a little circle if you would wrap up if you get that far. First up is Norman Love. Mr. Love, if you will introduce yourself and give us your address for the record.
I am Norman Love. I am with DAB Chapter 39. I'm the junior vice member, also a transportation member. I just want to try to give you guys a heads up of what we do. We have service officers there that do the paperwork and help people sort out some of the VA stuff. And they come in there with, like, they need different kind of help. Some people need help building a ramp. Some people need help with maybe a refrigerator or water heater, or they're behind in their rent, behind the light bill because of medical or whatever. And we try to help everybody that we can. On the transportation side, I run probably between 7 and 11 people a month, anywhere from 400 to almost 800 miles a month in a van that's got 192,000 miles on it. We have a bus that has 213,000 miles, and we're the only DAV in the area that has a wheelchair lift. So if anybody needs to be hauled in a wheelchair, we haul them in the bus. And that bus has also got excess of 200-something thousand miles. I don't know, as most of you guys have been down there to the DAV, but we're down there every Monday through Thursday. We have donuts there on Wednesday, and you can come down there and see exactly what we do. And in fact, I welcome anybody. Some of these veterans are in real bad shape. Our guy had cancer for a year and a half, and I watched him go down the hill. And I spend a lot of time with him. I volunteered so far 3,000 hours, and I drove in excess of 10,000 miles, just driving the last 3 years. So, we're not asking for much, but we're asking for some help. We live off of donations, and last year our donations was about 2/3 of what we normally get. So, we struggle. It's just like the county does when the county needs money. They struggle. And, if you guys can help with it all, please help us. That's all I need to say.
Thank you, Mr. Love. We appreciate you being here tonight. We appreciate the work you do for the disabled American veterans. I know it's a long, hard life. Next up, Mr. Padgett, Rodney Padgett. Rodney, welcome back. Good to see you.
My name is Rodney Padgett. I'm 1125 Gotland Shoulder Road, Buckle, Tennessee. Just got a little thing here I want to read off, if that's okay. First of all, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for allowing me to comment tonight. I'm actually here concerned with upcoming budget discussions since I'll miss next week due to the family vacation. I'd like to say that while I find that the particular stance for political leaders is to be against taxes at all costs, the responsibility of political leaders is to guide their respective communities in such a way to make the community prosper and be desirable. That can't always be done on a shoestring budget. While I realize that I am in the minority, I would gladly pay a reasonable sum more to see needs met, such as giving students equal opportunity with that of what is considered better educational systems in the area. For full disclosure, I admit that I do have an agenda. I have 2 very young children who go through the county school system right now. And they are my agenda. And my family is finding the current state of Sullivan County not fulfilling our wants. And sadly, I must say that we're keeping our eye out for other opportunities, while at the same time still fighting to make Sullivan County desirable. That said, I'm going to embark on this path. I will start with a little comparison. The City of Kingsport passed their budget on Tuesday in a meeting in which they elected to fund their school system of 11 schools with a 2018-19 school attendance of 7,426 students at a general purpose request of $78.4 million and an overall budget of $88.7 million. In comparison, Sullivan County, with its 23 schools and 9,470 students as of 2018-19, requested $83.2 million in general purpose funding and about $90 million if you count the $1.6 million in renovation funding that the county commission has declined per budget committee. One can deduce why Kingsport can provide more education, rich, and technology advanced opportunity at this level of funding, considering it's maintaining half the building and servicing 2,000 less students. In recent months, the county commission has asked for departments to streamline their budget needs, in particular the school system. Even with the county school requesting around $1 million or so less local revenue compared to last year's amended budget, I see that the budget presented at the last call meeting shows the county commission was not funding $800,000 in recreation program leasing grant funds, which would likely drop the school's budget below maintenance of effort requirement. I also am hearing rumblings that a CTES expert might speak to the county's ability to take $1.5 million or so from the recent $1.9 million rollover from a newly paid off rural debt fund. Of course, the other $4,000 was transferred from the renovation fund, so that's probably a loss since the renovation fund is not replenished. Is this the plan? What is the plan? Even if it isn't the plan, isn't the proposal fairly irresponsible of the funding body responsible for our county students' education opportunities? Why are we pilfering from school systems? Why are our students not as important as Kingsport students? Why are we, as a community, allowing the city body to have continued advantages and opportunities over all children by being unwilling to fund them at a similar level? With that comment, I'm not just talking to the county commission, I'm also talking to the county in general, the never taxers out there. Especially, why are we trying to use our students to fund jail issues and needs? Many on the commission represent Kingsport as well. Tell me why Kingsport's budget just passed, and I find that they have a $14 million rainy day fund. Why is it okay for Kingsport to allow that kind of reserve fund, while the county representation from Kingsport is part of the body that is highly against having rainy day funds in general, and especially at a department level such as the school system in recent years? Apart from pilfering every possible opportune cent of excess school funding, what is the county's rainy day fund? At an educational level, it costs about $9,000 to $12,000 per year for a fair private school education. You should know, we tried that one year. You raise taxes $75 on $100,000 to equal Kingsport's funding for schools. I don't see why that's so hard, but I do understand that base has to go along with that. It's not just a leadership problem to me. It's reflecting a political sales pitch that's gone awry. I would like the county commission or some representative committee to actually tell the community out loud, what are our needs? Not our wants, but what are our needs? What will they cost us? How do you recommend funding it? To be desirable and to maintain desirable citizens and attract new families, businesses, and desirable citizens that we need, what are our needs? We need better roads. We need a better level of county education out there. Better business opportunities, more honest and courageous political leadership. A parent doesn't lead a house by giving their toddler everything he wants. They lead by doing what is needed in the least detrimental or stressful way possible. Tell us, what is it really going to take for Sullivan County, not just the model city, and not just Bristol, to flourish? What are the real costs that we need to be ready to pay for the new jail, better roads, and an equally funded educational opportunity in our county? Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Eva Jesse.
Eva Jesse, 1824 Jackson Hollow Road, Kingsport, Tennessee, 37663.
Thank you.
I spoke with you all about a month ago about the jail and my children that are in the jail. And now we have an opportunity tonight with this tax increase to get behind the jail and make some changes, because changes are going to have to take place one way or another. Either we're going to fund it some way, somehow, or federal oversight is going to come in and we're going to be forced to fund it. I don't like to talk about my children in the jail because my children have been followed in Walmart by inmates. They've went through things in their personal life where, even as families, where we've been involved, and inmates that have gotten out have spoken about them. So I hesitate greatly to say this, but I'm going to say this anyways and hope it doesn't out one of my children. One of my children was placed in a very precarious situation this week dealing with an inmate that was brought in. In dealing with this inmate that was brought in, this inmate informed him right off the bat, "Why is there just one of you? Where I come from, where I was brought from, there are 3 officers with me." The reason that they're better funded, they have better, more, I'm assuming they have better funding, they have bigger facilities, but we didn't have that luxury this week. And so I know my child and several other officers were put in less than desirable situations this week dealing with an inmate because there's not enough officers. There are not enough officers to deal with these inmates. So I'm going to be here and I'm going to be that squeaky wheel. And I'm going to be here every single moment that I can to ask you all to please fund more officers in that jail. It would be easier to vote for the 7 cents than to deal with the federal oversight or deal with a lawsuit from somebody who was hurt in the jail. We don't have the money to do it. If we don't have the money to fund 7 cents, we don't have the money to fund a lawsuit. We don't have the money. It just blows me away. I'm all about education. I have 188 semester hours. I'm a medical professional. My children were medical professionals that went into law enforcement. We all are 60 grand in the hole with student loans. I believe highly in education, but this is what I think is really insane. If we are funding education, which I love, I'm a big proponent of, how can we fund education and build all these new schools and do all these great things whenever we have a jail sitting there that doesn't even have adequate facilities? Yeah, we've got schools. My kids all have been in county schools. They're great people today. Most of you've seen them if you toured the facility. I have children right now in county schools. I attend ETSU. I'm all about education. But if we have schools that are thriving, that they're doing well, they have adequate facilities, how can we say no to the jail when they don't even have adequate facilities? There are not officers in there. There are 17 to 20 officers per shift dealing with 1,000 inmates. And this is my opinion of it. Saying no to the 7%, 7 cent increase in our taxes, or however you want to fund it. I don't care how it gets funded. I just want it funded. I want them protected. To say no, how many of you, if you needed an officer, you're going to call 911 and you're going to expect them to be there? All of you. We all expect these officers to be there. But what happens when an officer can't respond? When they're 28 minutes late? Because there's only X amount of officers on the road and they're already dealing with chaos. Or there's X amount, some of them off the road have to bring inmates in, they get stuck in the jail. How can we call 911 and expect an officer to show up if we won't even show up for them today? So I'm asking you, as a mother, as a taxpayer, please fund this 7 cent increase. Please protect my children. Please protect my children, as well as all these men back here who's responsible for all these lives. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I know nobody wants their taxes raised. I don't want my taxes raised either. But 7 cents is worth my chop. It is worth my chop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That completes the list that I have on my desk. Does anyone else in the audience wish to address the county commission tonight on any item? I'll recognize you now. If not, the public hearing is closed, and we will get on with our next agenda item. And that would be the approval of notary publics. So, Madam Clerk, would you read the list?
Dominic Abate, Rebecca Ray Aker, Vicki Lynn Ballard, Tracy M. Barber, Tamara Michelle Levens, Robert Joseph Bovalik, Suzanne Hurst Boer, Lindsay Broadfoot, Karina Coakley, Kelly Portal, C. Thomas Davenport, Lisa A. Duncan, Billy R. Enyart, Fred R. Esser, Jonathan Christopher Fanning, Patricia Feathers, Kaylee Amber Frank, Lisa Ann Graham, Jana Lynn Hackler, Kristen Nicole Harris, John S. Hensley, Jonathan Robert Hearns, Stephen M. Holloway, Zane Davis Kilby, Sandra M. Leonard, William S. Lewis, Kiara LaShawn Moore, Karen W. Oaks, Juanita Ramey, Natasha M. Ramos, Susan G. Rieger, Patricia Robinette, Robin W. Rutherford, Stephanie Sanders, Tiffany Porter Smeltzer, Laurel Dean Smith, Amy Suzanne Stevens, Dusty Michelle Sutherland, Shannon C. Taylor, Carol M. Cross, Rachel Nicole Trigg.
You've heard the list. Any objection? Move adoption, Mr. Cole, second, Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Votes on the board. Board open, cast your vote. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
22 yes, 2 absent.
Thank you. The list is adopted as read. Next on the agenda is item number 1. We don't have any amendments to our planning and zoning today, so we will move on along without dealing with item number 1. And I'd like to, at this point, you have the consent agenda before you in blue paper, which was agreed to upon meeting on previous Thursday. Does any member wish to bump any item off the consent agenda as it now exists? Seeing none, we'll take a motion for approval of the consent agenda. Crawford, moves. Problem second. Any discussion? Seeing none, votes on the board. The board open to cast your vote on the consent agenda. Must have unanimous. All members present. Pass. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
22 yes, 2 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, the consent agenda is adopted as published. Next up, under old business, you will see on your agenda that we have items 3, 4, and, items 10, 11, and 12. Those are budget resolutions on which we have published a proper notice in the area newspapers and given proper notice that they will be handled at a special call meeting at Sullivan County Commission on Tuesday, June 25th, meeting starting at 4 o'clock. Prior to that meeting, there will be a public hearing on those budget items at 3 o'clock. We invite the public to come, make any comments on the budget, which has been published in an area newspaper. So we will go on from that's the only items under old business. So we will proceed to new business. And without objection, I have a request from Mr. Glover to move item number 8 from his position on the agenda to his position at the top of the agenda. And I would recognize Mr. Glover for introduction. And we're going to hear our guest before we, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You want to do it up at the well?
We can. Do you want our guest to speak first or the resolution first?
Let's do the resolution.
Do the resolution first? Okay,
How's that?
that's good. Item number 8, Mr. Glover moves the immediate introduction and adoption of item number 8, seconded by Commissioners King and Crosswhite. And I will proceed to the well at this point. Mr. Glover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of months ago, Gary Mays with EMS come to our administrative meetings that we had and expressed to us the replacement of the cardiac monitors for this coming year. We were told that in January of this year that we were going to have to replace those monitors because they didn't correspond with the hospitals and they were out of date. So at this time, I would like to read to you the resolution that we have in response to that. And Gary couldn't be here tonight. He's on, I think he's gone on vacation somewhere out west, but I would like to read this resolution at this time, and then we'll go up with the mayor. This resolution is to accept Ballard Health's donation of 30 cardiac monitors for all Sullivan County emergency medical services critical care units. Whereas the Sullivan County EMS transports hundreds of patients with cardiac and pulmonary distress to Bristol Regional Medical Center, Holston Valley Medical Center, and Johnson City Medical Center each year. Whereas these monitors enhance Ballard Health's regional trauma network by enabling EMS to prepare emergency departments and cardiac catheterization labs for patients' arrivals while en route, thereby saving heart, muscle, and lives. And whereas this donation is fitly aligned with Sullivan County EMS Department's mission. Their mission is to provide medical care for the public through a motivated and compassionate workforce. And whereas the Sullivan County EMS Director, Gary Mays, identifies these monitors as the most life-saving thing we've done in Sullivan County since the paramedics. And whereas Sullivan County EMS has received the American Heart Association's Lifeline EMS Gold Plus Award for the 5th time, being recognized for implementing quality improvement measures for the treatment of patients who experience severe heart attacks, relying upon Tempest technology to exceed these results. And whereas the Sullivan County's current vital sign monitors expand soon, and Sullivan County EMS recognizes Ballard Health's profound effort to provide 30 cardiac monitors, costed value up to $1.2 million, as an exemplary partnership that will save lives. And whereas these feature-rich monitors are designed to provide a valuable two-way real-time collection of all vitals, data, events, interventions, medications, and important pictures for communication between EMS and hospital team members along the patient's pathway. And now therefore it be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Sullivan County, Tennessee, in regular session hereby approves and accepts this partnership with Ballard Health, recognizing these monitors provide critical pre-hospital data and remain available to provide health improvement to all Sullivan County citizens. Be it further resolved that by all working together, Ballard Health and Sullivan County EMS will lead this transformative initiative to save countless lives in Sullivan County and beyond. At this time, I'd like to go up to the well, please.
Sponsors, go ahead and join me in the well, please. Mr. Glover renews his motion for immediate introduction and adoption of item number 8, seconded by Commissioners King and Crosswhite. And I would recess for an introduction.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner King and Commissioner Crosswhite worked very hard with us on this. When this was brought to our attention, but just in a few weeks, we got in touch with Ballard and set up a meeting with them. I got in touch with Commissioner King and told him we were going on a little fact-finding mission, and that's what we did. And I'd like to thank Ms. Crosswhite for her help on this, her past experience in the healthcare field and her care of veterans, and everything she does is a big help in this. And most of all, I want to thank Ballard Health for stepping up and providing these monitors for Sullivan County. It saved Sullivan County $1.2 million and probably a 4-cent tax increase. And that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the lives that we're going to be able to save in Sullivan County with these monitors. And the thing about these monitors, and you and Mr. Perry there will get into that with us, we represent a rural area, me and Dwight, Ms. Crosswhite, and these monitors are going to be very, very helpful in the areas that we cover, not only for all Sullivan County, with the type of information that they gather, and by moving that forward to the hospitals before our patients get there. And again, thank you for that. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. King if he would say some few words.
I believe I'm gonna step up here where I can look in the mic, but, again, thank you all. We were presented a big problem that would affect all Sullivan County, every citizen in Sullivan County, and how we were going to fund this. And, you know, we took a want and a need, and Ballard Health stepped up. And this is, you know, if you're not familiar with what we're doing here, nobody else hardly in the country, I don't think, has got this. So we're at the leading edge of technology. And hopefully that this is going to prove to other people that these are viable instruments that we use. And it's really critical with that heart muscle that you get the attention you need, and there is nothing destroyed. Otherwise, when you have a heart attack, it all depends on speed and getting to that muscle. So with that, thank you, and I hope that we can do many other things in the future. Thanks.
Mr. Cross.
Mr. Crosswhite.
I don't think I made this, but again, I want to thank Ballard Health. I've been so thrilled about this that I actually haven't slept at night. I couldn't wait till we got up here and showed Sullivan County what we're getting that other counties don't have. This is going to save, we're having a heart attack. I personally have some breathing issues. It's going to make a big difference. We're saving people's lives with what they've given us. And I can't say enough, just thank you, and our county is very blessed to have Ballard Health helping us.
Thank you. Mr. Glover, would you like me to introduce our guest?
Yes.
If you would, that'd be great.
It's my extreme pleasure to introduce my friend and our special guest tonight, Mr. Eric Deaton with Ballard Health, and he is accompanied by Mr. Jim Perry, Chief Jim Perry of the Sullivan County EMS Department. Mr. Deaton, thank you so much, and the floor is yours. We're in recess.
I'll let Tim take it first.
Okay, Jim. This Chief Perry, for those of you who don't know, he's been around a long time, does a great job. Jim, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor Randall, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the commission, for allowing me this time to speak, and also thank you for your support of Sullivan County EMS over the years. It's been very important for us. If I may, Mayor, just for a second before I get into the topic of hand, I rarely get the opportunity to publicly thank the men and women of Sullivan County EMS and say how proud I am of them for the job they do and for the sacrifices they make. But it is tremendous, and they do a wonderful job out there, so I'd just like to take the opportunity to do that. Now back to the topic at hand of these cardiac monitors, and I say that in quotation marks because I can't begin to explain the level of excitement that I have for this. We have traditionally called them cardiac monitors and heart monitors and defibrillators and all these things, but this is technology that is well beyond anything that we've ever seen in a pre-hospital setting anywhere in the nation. Nobody has this equipment yet in its total package, other than the special forces of the U.S. military. They are using it in some instances with the total package. It's really a game changer for patient care in a pre-hospital setting. The capabilities that it has of I know we look at the heart, we do all those things, we take care of these heart attacks, and it's amazing for that, and it saves heart muscle, and it saves lives, and it improves quality of life for those that survive. And it cuts time now on getting these patients in the cath lab and getting intervention done. That's amazing stuff. It truly is. And patients won't even realize, that they're walking out of the hospital having a normal life, and it's because of this equipment that allowed that to happen by getting the information into the hospital center. But this equipment goes well above and beyond what we're doing now. Right now we can transmit a 12-lead EKG to the emergency department. With this equipment, we'll be able to transmit everything that monitor sees, which is not only the heart rhythm, but also Ms. Crosswhite mentioned breathing. With the capnography that we're using, that these monitors have on them, and actually, we read that kind of like we do an EKG strip, and it tells us what the lungs are doing, how hard they're working, and kind of not only how hard they're working, but what disease process may be causing the shortness of breath, then help direct us on how to treat it. And on top of that, it obviously tells us if our treatments are working, if we may need to change treatments, or how successful we are with it. And the whole time, all this information can be live streamed straight to the ED for the emergency department to see, for the physician there to see. It can live stream video. We can take pictures of a scene somewhere, exact pictures of the emergency department, so they see what's going on before we get there. It even has technology of basically, it is true telemedicine, so that we can basically angle toward the patient. The physicians can actually see the patient while we're still in the field or while we're transporting, and the physicians can actually give us feedback while we're treating the patient or transporting the patient. It's just amazing stuff. I can stay on here and talk about it forever of what all this thing can do and the capabilities that it has that we don't have now with video laryngoscope and invasive pressure monitoring, non-invasive pressure monitoring, art lines, and temperature probes 2 different ways, and just tons of things that I would get over my head even talking about, so I won't bore you with all that stuff. But it is a huge, huge deal. And with our equipment at end of life, it's the perfect timing for this. And we're truly excited about it and just can't wait for it to come out. It's going to have a huge impact for a lot of people. I would like to thank Commissioners Glover and King, Crosswhite for the work they've done. I would like to thank Alan as well for partnering with Sullivan County and our patients to make this possible. And obviously, anytime anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to call me. But with all of that, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce the Senior Vice President of Market Operations at Public Health, Eric Deaton.
Mr. Deaton, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. Chief Perry, thank you very much. I want to say what a privilege it is to be with you tonight. Thank you for allowing me to be here. It's been a pleasure to work with Commissioners Crosswhite, Glover, and King, Mr. Mays, Chief Perry on this project. This truly is a game changer, as Chief Perry said. Frankly, I don't think this would have come to fruition if it wasn't for the work and their hard work and support. Especially want to thank Commissioners King and Glover, who came to meet with us to look at this partnership and to help put this all together. And Brenda, thank you for all your work in putting together the packets that you all have in front of you today. We and I personally have a great appreciation for and collaboration with Sullivan County EMS. They are truly a first-class organization. I've worked all across the Southeast and in many different cities. I've worked with a lot of different EMS agencies, and Sullivan County EMS stands at the top. And they are amazing in the work that they do, and I'm truly privileged to have a chance to get to know them and work with them every day, and I'm very proud of that. We see this relationship as a partnership to support and improve the health of our region. This is really something we're looking forward to implementing. As Jim said, it's not being done anywhere else. I think University of Cincinnati may have had some early on to do some trials, but basically it's been used primarily in the armed forces. Providing this hospital equipment, or this equipment, really does support pre-hospital treatment with the diagnosis that's vital for helping our patients in the region have fewer complications after being treated. Valley Health has partnered with Sullivan County EMS to provide state-of-the-art monitoring system. The proposed system is called the Tempest Pro. I think you have in front of you there a new concept of vital sign monitoring that places the needs of the pre-hospital care professional at the heart of the design. It's really groundbreaking in that it's very light. It's about, 6 pounds maybe?
Yeah, the monitoring device.
The monitoring device is about 6 pounds, where today it's probably several pounds at 20-some pounds. So they can actually carry it with them as they go to treat the patient. It's groundbreaking functionally. It's light to carry, as I said. It's rugged, it's highly innovative, and highly intuitive to operate. The Tempest Pro has become the standard of care for the United Kingdom and is being adopted by other NATO and armed forces around the world, including Australia, U.S. Special Operations, Canada, and Norway. It's currently under review, final review with the FDA, and we expect that to be completed within the next 90 days. If by some chance that this system is not approved by the FDA, which we fully expect that it will be, we will continue to support this project, whatever our EMS partners decide that they need if we have to replace this one. Our health system provided monitoring to Sullivan County more than 12 years ago, and it was really one of the first, Sullivan County is one of the first EMS organizations to have that then, and we really created the heart network for our region, where if you're having a heart attack and you are being taken to the hospital, you bypass the emergency room and go directly to the cath lab. They have the protocols in place, and the EMS folks have the patient ready to go directly to the cath lab without having to stop. The use of these cardiac monitors is the utmost importance to EMS. They're not just utilized, as Jim said, for cardiac-specific patients, but also for all patients receiving pre-hospital care. And we're very excited to be a part of this. The purchasing of that will happen over the next two fiscal years we committed to. And we're just, like everyone else, very excited to get this going and look forward to how we can partner together with other things in the future. So thank you again for allowing me to be here. It's certainly a privilege.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, would you please, on behalf of the Sullivan County Commission, citizens of Sullivan County, and certainly those folks that are going to benefit from the use, please pass on our sincere thanks to your colleagues at Valley Health.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, if we would, I'd like to ask each commissioner to support Commissioner King, myself, and Commissioner Crosswhite on this resolution. It's very important to the county. And I think this is an example of things that we can do if we work together to save the taxpayers of Sullivan County money. And that's what we've done. The most important thing is to save lives, and it's keeping our tax rate down too. So that's something that's very important to all of us. And 7 or 8 months ago when we came here, I heard a lot of rumblings. Well, let's see what that new commission will do. And this is an example of things that the new commission's doing. And we appreciate Ballard, we appreciate the citizens of Sullivan County, and we appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner renews his motion for the immediate introduction and adoption of item number 8. You've heard the explanation. Any questions from the sponsor?
Call for the vote.
Seeing none, we're ready to vote. When the board opens, please cast your vote on item number 8 on today's agenda. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 8 is adopted as presented. Again, Chief Eric, thank you for being here. Okay, we'll go back to our regular agenda now, and under new business, item number 4, Commissioner Cole and Commissioner Calvin. Commissioner Cole, you're recognized. Item number 4.
Thank you, Chairman. This resolution is to accept a grant for the phase 1 of the Big Blackwell. This grant is from TDOT. It's basically sidewalks through the Sullivan area, the historic district, and it will connect to the middle school, the churches, and the businesses. It's really fantastic, and it's what we need for the historic district. At first, we were required to pay 50% matching grant, but now we've come back, or they have come back and said we can match 5% only. So I think it's a wonderful deal, and it will help the historic area of Blackwell. And this will not exceed $50,000. And the waiver of rules is requested. It didn't come to us until the first of this month, so we have to have it in by next month.
You've heard the explanation. Commissioner Cole moves for adoption. And just as a note, I skipped item 3 and took item 4 out of order. We'll do item 3 next. So, any questions for Commissioner Cole? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. When the board opens, cast your vote. 16 votes for passage on first reading. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change the vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item 4 is adopted. And moving backward, we're up to item number 3, and Commissioner Vance. Commissioner Vance, I want to commend you for coming here directly from Bahamas with no stops.
I'm sorry I didn't dress up, I didn't want to fly all day long.
But, we're happy to have you, no matter how you dress. You'll push a button. I'll recognize you on item number 3, Mark. You're recognized.
Joyce is talking smack to me sitting over in these shorts. I want y'all to know that, but anyway. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now back to the resolution. This resolution is to approve the transfer of a small parcel of land being about 1.193 acres to Brad and Amity Vance. First of all, they're neither one of them kin to me. Located behind 424 Suburbia Drive in Anderson Heights. Whereas Sullivan County acquired land for a current jail and court facility, portions of the land back to residential property located in Anderson Heights subdivision of Suburbia. An irregular square parcel of land in the approximate size of 105 feet by 80 feet, being about 0.193 acres, is unusual for the county, but is needed for the property owners in subdivision for the extension of their leach field. I assume that is for the septic situation, septic tank. Whereas the sale of property has been evaluated and approved by the Sullivan County Building Committee, whereas property owners Brad and Amity Vance have offered to purchase said parcel of property for some of $1,000. This resolution is to agree to accept and sell this property to Mr. and Mrs. Vance so they can work on their sewer line. So I'd like to ask for the question unless there's questions from anybody else.
Mr. Vance renews his motion, second by Commissioner Calvin. Any questions for sponsor? Seeing none, you're ready to vote. Mr. Vance moves to waive the rule for immediate introduction and adoption of item number 3. The board opens to cast your vote. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 3 is adopted, as presented. I believe next up, 4, we had 4, 5 no consent, so next up is item number 6. Stanley, I believe. No. Item 5 was, on consent. Commissioner Stanley. So we have item number 6, and Commissioner Vance, you're recognized on item number 6.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this resolution is one that we do normally each year at the end of the year, budget year. This is a budget amendment to the general purpose school, moving costs around to balance out their budget for the year. If anyone has any questions, Mrs. Ratlowski and I think Ingrid back there also, if anybody has any questions, this is a normal practice we normally do each year.
Mr. Vance renews his motion for immediate introduction and adoption, seconded by Commissioner Morrell. Any questions? Mr. Brock?
Yes, sir, Mayor, Mr. Vance. I asked during the work session if we could get the amounts on these, because I just listened to the account number. They were going to provide them this evening, is what they said in the work session.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you look what they're doing, if you see the negative, they're taking $49,450.
I believe do we have that total, Ingrid?
I haven't seen that, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, Ingrid was going to tell that up for tomorrow.
On the resolution, it gives you totals that are moving from each account in each section. I'm not sure why you're not seeing that, but the resolution is detailed out with totals. Now, if you need more totals than that, I'll be glad to give you whatever you're requesting.
Oh, Todd, if you look right here,
I found it, yeah, thank you.
it shows the 100 moving it over into benefits, and each individual one of these are different accounts.
Okay, thank you. I didn't see this, it was buried in there, thank you. And what was the total left over for the year?
And this being June the 20th, it's hard for me to give you a total. We still don't have revenues adjusted from the trustee's office, so I can't give you a definite total as to what we'll close out with the year.
Could you give an estimate? I've heard estimates 1.8 to 2 million. Is that close in your opinion?
I would like to know who could give an estimate that close, because I cannot give you that estimate. We still have some major expenditures that we're not sure of the amount.
Okay.
And we have some revenues that are coming in that we're not sure of either, so I couldn't even give you an estimate at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Broughton. We're back in session. Thank you, Ingrid. Any further questions for the sponsor? Mr. Vance renews his motion for immediate introduction and adoption by waiving the rule. Seconded by Commissioner Morrell. When the board opens, call for vote. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
23 yes, 1 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 6 is adopted as presented. Next up, item number 7, and Commissioner Vance, you're recognized on that, and I believe we have an amendment filed that pretty much rewrites the bill. So you're recognized.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. This resolution, I'm going to read the amendment. Scratch out the first resolution 2. It will read resolution to approve the construction and renovation of EMS stations in Sullivan County, and also to authorize commencement of the bidding process for renovation and construction of EMS stations. Also to authorize the equivalent of 1 penny on the tax rate to be reinstated to the EMS general fund for financing costs associated with construction, land acquisition, architectural design, and all other costs associated with building EMS stations. This is not an additional penny on the current tax rate. This is reinstating the penny approved in 2015. And I want to give you a little history. When the budget was presented to us a couple of weeks ago, well, we just go back in history. 2015-2016 budget, the EMS came to the county. At that time, the tax rate was increased 27 cents. I made a motion during the budget committee, and it was seconded and was approved to put a penny on the tax rate to EMS. This year, when the budget was presented, that penny had disappeared. What I'm asking in this resolution is to have the penny reinstated, which will not be a tax increase for a penny. It'll be putting the penny back in there that's been in there since 2015-16 budget, 16-17, 17-18, and 18-19 budget. So the EMS have used it to purchase ambulances, which Mr. Mays feels now that they can cover that cost. I've asked Mr. Bailey to do some finances, which he looked at bonds to build these stations, which the interest rate we got was 1.5% over a 20-year period. And over that 20-year period, debt payment would be about $222,000 a year, which is less than a penny. So what I'm proposing is to put that penny back in the budget where it was at before, utilize that money to build these stations. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, you've heard the great things that EMS does. EMS was started in 1970, and they'll be around 50 years. EMS currently operates out of 2 stations that they own. They operate out of a station in Hickory Tree. They operate out of a station behind the jail here in Blountville. They operate out of Kingsport Fire Station 6 at no rent to the county. They operate out of a station that's bought and paid for by Ballard Health, which is behind Indian Path Hospital. At the time that took place, it was Mountain States Health Alliance. And the station on Wilcox Drive was the station that was built through a lease agreement by the Army to allow the county to build a station out there. That station has to be vacated in 2021. Last year, the county purchased a building on Wilcox Drive, and that is to be utilized to put the supplies that's currently in the youth home or county home on County Home Road across from Bernie Webb, is to move the supplies there and also put the convalescent units. From the time I worked there since 1978 to the time now, they're running over 29,000 calls. They have 132 employees. The stations in Kingsport are operating on a daily basis 11 trucks, and I want to go over a little bit of history. At one time, you had Churchill, Highlander, Quality Care Ambulance Services that are operating in Kingsport, and they're no longer there. So the county has had to really pick up the pace of handling a lot more calls, hiring a lot more people. Ballot health transfers are going up. Everything is revolving and changing. With working 11 trucks in Kingsport, we have one station at Indian Path that has 2 trucks capacity, and they're operating 5 trucks out of it. And so we do not have enough room to even house those EMS workers. On Wilcox Drive, we've got to vacate that property. So Mr. Mays and I have been working on this for probably about the last 5 or 6 months. I'm going to ask to have this penny put back in the account code next week on the budget, because we voted to put it in. We have not voted to take it out. I'm asking to put the penny back in there, and then I'm asking Mr. Mays to formally come to each committee, the administrative committee, the executive committee, and the budget committee, and present what he's got. He's got a complete plan. It's just not putting this in here fly by night. This is actually a plan. It will show where the trucks are logistically going to be located, which time saves lives. Heart monitors save lives. The time saves lives. It's going to better serve the people in Sullivan County and also the city of Kingsport. In the west end of Kingsport, something we've needed a long time. I want you all to see where the station is going to be built at. Also, they're going to have to renovate the warehouse building, I call it, on Wilcox Court. They're going to have to go in and renovate it, make it suitable for an EMS station to house the convalescent trucks out of, plus put the supplies in there. So all I'm asking is put the penny back, and you all approve the plan that Mr. Mays will present to you all next month. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll add this amendment on, and unless someone wants to vote on this month, I would like the commissioner to hear the formal plan that Mr. Mays has put together to go over so you all know what you're voting for next month.
So this entered into the record on first read. We have a couple of questions, Mark. Mr. Shaw, you're recognized. It is on first reading.
Okay, but I just don't want to be confused on Tuesday, so this has no bearing on Tuesday, what we're doing on Tuesday?
No, Mr. Shaw, will not. well, first of all, we have to fund it. When the budget came out today, that's the reason I added a penny onto the tax rate, because the penny was removed from the budget. If the penny is put back into the budget, then there won't be a penny tax rate increase for EMS. The money should already be in the budget to fund it.
Should our tax rate that we're going to deliberate on Tuesday read 2.61 instead of 2.62? Because you said this penny was not relevant to the budget.
Well, this penny is relevant. I'm asking to go back to the budget that was presented to us and amend it to put that penny back in there. If you'll look at on page 19 of the first budget document, you'll show prior years had been submitted and had been approved and been funded. This year's budget, that penny had been removed.
Well, then this comprises 1 of the 7 cents.
No, sir. We have not voted to take the penny out. So I don't think we can arbitrarily just take a penny out of something that's been put in there by a vote and by this commission in 2015.
Well, somebody's going to have to walk me through Tuesday then what each of the 7 cents represents. Now, in the same subject, but different vein. I think you make a pretty good case at this point for improving the EMS facilities. My concern is that this is a capital improvement, and we don't have a capital improvement plan. If we had a plan, this might be such a strong case that it would rise to the top of the list, but I don't know because we don't have a list. And that's my general concern of the commission. We ought to have a capital improvement plan to weigh all these types of issues against each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Stanley, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. I guess my question is for Larry. Why was the 1 cent taken out, and where did you put it when it was taken out?
The 1 cent is, excuse me, 1 cent was taken out last year. Wasn't put in there last year. The building was purchased for $300,000. That amount was what was put in. It was presented to the budget committee at the last meeting before the actual budget was presented without the $350,000. And then when the building was purchased, it was $300,000 was put in that same account to purchase the building.
Okay, so will this be coming out of our general fund?
It was in the general fund, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I respond to that?
You might, yeah. Respond to
I was on the budget committee last year, and I don't remember. It shows here in 2018, 2019, there was $300,000. And this year it shows 0. And it shows a decrease. So I question, was it taken out last year?
It was taken out last year. If you look down below it, there was an amount, $349 for solid waste that we put in the same time the ambulance services, $349,000 was put in. That amount was taken out last year as well as that particular amount. Ready for the budget committee at the final meeting before they actually turn the budget over to this body.
Can you provide the minutes to that meeting, sir?
I've got schedules that show that.
I'd like to see the minutes of that. Because I think I would have stood up then and said something if you took $300,000 from EMS. Because I'm the one that implemented the 2015, 2016 budget. And I don't remember, and I wouldn't have voted last year to remove it from EMS. So I'd like to see the minutes.
Well, I think that's something we can clear up later. We have a question from Mr. King. Mr. King.
Well, Angie, you took my question. What I was wondering is, was that when that money was put in, was it designated for EMS from now on?
Yes.
So it should have been in the budget from now on. So there's a question again, when it come out, where did he? Go ahead, Larry.
Larry, go ahead, Larry.
Oh, it's Richard, I'm sorry.
That would be, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But anyway, I'm like, where did that money go from? And, you put something in, then why was it taken out? And also, was it totally, the 300 was supposed to be, was part of solid waste, or was it all that's supposed to be EMS. So, was that 300 used for EMS, or was that part of it used for something else?
Well, after the budget was voted on, Mr. King, it was determined that the 300,000 was not used for what it initially intent was, and that was to purchase ambulances. They actually used that money to purchase the building on Wilcox Drive. So that was like using that money for 1 year, but we assumed that money would be back in here this year.
So last year, was it in the budget?
Yes, sir, right here is what was turned in tonight on page 19.
All right. I've looked at it, and that's what it shows on 19, but there again, what was it used for EMS last year?
Yes, sir, to purchase the building on Wilcox Drive without us instructed.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. King. Mr. Akers, you're recognized.
I just want to clarify, kind of follow up on what Pat was saying, and it's what I mentioned last week. Hunter and I talked about having Gary do the presentation so we know what's going on. And so my clarification may really be for Pat. When you talk about capital projects, do you mean countywide or just for EMS?
Countywide.
Okay, that's what
Mr. Chairman, I was just going to say, I'm maybe a little bit confused, but once on Tuesday, the tax rate is set, we can't come back later, 30 days later, and add a penny to it. So I'm not really sure what Commissioner Vance.
We will follow proper procedure and pass our budget, and if it needs to be amended, we'll amend it if it doesn't, but we will.
My intent is to amend the budget. My intent is to amend the budget as being presented to us to put the money back in the budget for EMS.
Mr. Betsy, you just said you wanted to go through the committees and have a full
I'm
presentation.
talking about the buildings. I want the commissioners to know what proceeds and the buildings and where they're going to be placed at. There is a building plan. There's design, some preliminary architectural design. The station in Bluff City behind the Shell station. We got the land from the city of Bristol. We're working on land that's from the city of Kingsport. So this has been a work in progress. We have some preliminary figures what it's going to take to renovate the Wilcox Court, the warehouse, to make it an EMS station. We have preliminary figures about a station at Sullivan and Wilcox, and also the one at Gibson Mill and Stone. So Mr. Mays has got a formal plan. He can't be here, he's out of town as well. And I wanted you all to see what we're doing. So the point next week, we're going to be asking the money to put back in there, so that way you all know the funds are there, and then the building plan can be presented.
But this is for a first reading, is that your desire?
Yes.
Okay. And all members who are getting ready to speak, this is on first reading. Commissioner Locke, you're recognized.
With the penny taken out, regardless if it's for stations or trucks, they can use it either way, but the penny's gone. That's $350,000 that's gone from EMS. I say we waive the rules and vote on it tonight, because regardless if it's for stations, you can't have an agency without trucks, and you've got to have apparatus to run these calls. And the next 3 years, we don't even have any money in the budget to do a truck rotation to upgrade these ambulances. We got some of these ambulances out here with 200,000 miles on them. So, will you amend this and waive the rules and take a vote on this tonight? It's irrelevant of where the penny goes and what it's towards. We just need to put back in there like it was put in there back in 15.
Does this resolution put it back in there?
Where the penny went to, you're asking to put it back in there. The
Does this
350,000.
resolution do that?
The one you amended. So will you waive the rules tonight and vote on this? That way we can move forward? Because I think that's the only way to do business.
If I may, Mark, I believe the first resolve says to authorize equivalent. $300 equivalent of 1 penny be reinstated to EMS funds for financing costs. That is not amending the budget. What's the, we have further questions while you contemplate that, Mark. Commissioner Cotton.
My only comment is, if the penny, as Mr. Bailey stated, is not there anymore, is that correct? I mean, it's been taken out and voted that we don't use the penny from the 27 cents tax increase. Is that my understanding?
It was dropped from the budget last year.
Okay, it was dropped. Okay, so we would have to, where we gonna get the penny to reinstate it?
It would be my suggestion that do this, add it to the 29. Okay, would be to allow it to be added to the budget as an appropriation, remove it from the tax rate, which is asking to do, not increase taxes for it. And at this time, I'd like to say something we've worked on in the last couple of days, looking at it. We think we can provide it in a fund, the amount of money without hindering the financial condition of that fund and without removing anything from the appropriation. We'd like to, that's what our recommendation was going to be come Tuesday. I told you, Mark, I'd look at trying to make it work out, and did.
Okay. So it'll be a full penny put back in.
Not a penny, it'll be an amount.
To accomplish, I believe, what your objective was.
$149,000, that's what it takes.
Commissioner Cross, Commissioner Cross, I've got, you're on.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess, Mark, when was this penny voted in for the EMS?
Okay, in 2015-2016 budget, the tax rate went up 27 cents. Mr. Mays presented to the budget committee that he had needs for additional ambulance and equipment at that time. I made a motion in the budget committee to increase the tax rate 1 penny generated for EMS. That was second, when the county commission voted the tax increase of 27 cents, that penny was included.
Okay, for that penny to have been resolved from this budget, wouldn't it require a vote from this commission again?
Well, I'm not going to get.
Or would it be?
I'm not going to get in an argument of whether it's taken out last year or not.
I'm trying to clarify something. I don't understand.
Look at your budget document on page 29.
Okay, is it proper if we vote something in, are we obligated to vote it out? To stop it?
Well, sure. We put 7 cents on the highway department. And we can't take that 7 cents unless we vote to take a penny away from them, right?
Then I'm hearing the word that last year it was removed. Who had the authority to remove it?
I don't know. I don't remember voting on it to remove it. I'm sorry.
I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I want a clarification here. If it's something that this commission has seen insight and want to do for the county, and then someone comes along and can remove it without us knowing it, does the budget committee have that authority?
I believe, Mr. Mayor, I think Mr. Vance stated earlier that the funds in that were used to purchase the building for EMS, and the budget committee can do that, yes.
And from that point, the budget committee decided the 1 cent would not stay in there, but it would be used at that point to purchase the building?
I'm gonna take a guess at something that, when we talk about pennies, we talk about the tax rate and what a penny, and once money gets in the budget, it's an amount.
Yeah, amount.
It's an amount that's appropriated. So, the talk about pennies really confuses the issue. Because you talk about pennies one time, then you talk about $225,000 debt service another time. So it's a little bit confusing at best. And I would say that we'll discuss this till everybody has a clear understanding of what happened.
Well, I don't know exactly where we're going as far as getting this back in the budget.
Well, I think Mr. Bailey answered the question on Thursday that he was prepared
We can do it
to address this in a way that was agreeable to the sponsor. I believe that's what happened. There's no adage. We have other questions. Commissioner Laylock, you're recognized.
Yes, I just want to hear Gary Mays. I really want to hear what he has to say about it before I do a vote today.
Gary's not here.
I know he's not here. I mean, you all are trying to call for a vote here. And I'm saying let's don't vote on anything until Gary Mays comes.
Well, it is on first reading for the sponsor's report.
Let me say this, and Mr. Bailey is correct. If Mr. Bailey is coming away to fix this, then I'll be willing to accept that next week, but I want to make sure it's in the budget document.
Next week, okay.
Yeah.
So will Gary be
So I
back?
think-
I'm not trying to force anything on anybody or put anybody on the spot. He just told me he'd work on that because I believe it was there last year, and I think it's been taken out this year. But if he can fix it and bring an answer to us by next Tuesday, as long as it's in the budget next Tuesday, and then I want Mr. Mays to come to you all and present what he's going to do with that. You all need to be aware of what you're spending that money for.
If for no other reason that we're proud of the plan. Thank you, Commissioner Blaylock. First reading, any other questions? We're moving on. Item number 7. I believe item number 8 we handled earlier, thanks to Ballot Health. Item number 9, Commissioner Vance, you're recognized.
Commissioner Vance, you're recognized.
Next time. We're early.
Hold on, man. You know this minute here.
No, I'm not gonna wait. Gonna go without you. Mr. Vance, I'll get you that seat recognition one more time, Mark. And this is to amend the fiscal year appropriation for various accounts. And you're recognized.
We don't go long tonight, I tell you. All right, this here is amendment to the fiscal year appropriation for various accounts. This is a house cleaning situation. Going to move for GIS contracts, $1,200, circuit court clerk, $27,500, mental health evaluation, $22,800, and the park. If I believe this correct, these are amendments we're gonna have to do for appropriations to have the budgets to be balanced out, for the end of this year.
Thank you. You've heard that explanation, seconded by Commissioner Calvin. Mark has moved to waive the rule for the immediate introduction and adoption of this resolution. Any questions? Seeing none, when the board opens, cast your vote. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change the vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
23 yes, 1 absent.
I received necessary majority. Item number 9 is adopted. That completes our new business agenda. I've got a few announcements. The first announcement I'd like to make is after we adjourn, if you want to stay, Mr. Bailey, we know we're moving on the budget. Mr. Bailey will be happy to answer questions. We've been getting questions all week long, and he's been addressing those either by email or by personal phone call, and we thought it would be good. Take a few minutes tonight. If you have questions about budget structure, budget items that we may need some time to get you the answer on, but we'll stay after we adjourn if it pleases the commission, and Mr. Bailey is willing to do that tonight. So the other announcement, I'd like to make one other announcement. TCSA 66th Annual Fall Conference, October 29-31 at the Knoxville Convention Center. Let my office know if you want to go, if you need reservations. It was October 29, 30, 31 at the Knoxville Convention Center. That's TCSA.
It's too late for
Yeah, 29, 30, 31, be 29, 30, come on 31st. Okay, the other thing I'd like to do, this will be the last regularly scheduled meeting that we will be blessed with the presence of our mayor. Now, Pat, are you ready? Are you going to do this on Tuesday?
But if I did it now, nobody's mad at me, but Tuesday they might be mad at me.
Hell, I stay mad at you.
So, I just wait till Tuesday.
Well, okay. Well, I just wanted to acknowledge that Pat has been a good and faithful member and has served with honor and distinction in his time at Sullivan County Commission. I look forward to his remarks as he leaves to pursue bigger fish. So, with that, I believe that's all the announcements I have. Commissioner Broughton, you.
Mr. Baxter, before me.
Oh, okay. Mark.
Mr. Chairman, I guess the privilege of sponsoring the resolution for the budget and the tax rate and the nonprofits. I would just like to ask one thing. Next week, when we come in here on Tuesday and to discuss these, if you have any amendments you want to make to this budget, is to please present it in writing.
On the form that you got.
On the form that both you just have on your desk, okay? That way it can be clarified, go to the record that what we've done, so there won't be questions later on.
I appreciate you mentioning that, Mark, and it may be a good time for me to say this, and then we'll get you recognize Todd. The clerk has given you a form, and we already have amendment number 1 filed to one of the resolutions. So if during the intervening time you've written your amendment and you would like it to be prepared before we get here on Thursday or Tuesday, drop it by my office, emails if you fax or scan and email the form. Any way you want to get it to us that we can get prepared for it. The amendments will be on board. If we have amendments that we have not preloaded that you've given us previously, we'll take the time to take a break and allow you to put the amendment on the board so that everybody know what they're voting on, what amendment it is, and we'll have the recorded vote. So, Mark, thank you for making those comments, and I expect we will have some. Commissioner Broughton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just following up from our discussion from the work session. Just so everybody knows, Wesley Robertson from CTAS did get a hold of me. And he's going to be available Tuesday at 4 o'clock for a teleconference. And for those of you that couldn't make the meeting, just a quick update. It'll take me just a minute or two of your time. I have a PowerPoint here. If y'all would like to see it, I'll be glad to show it to you publicly or whatever. But what I've been discussing with Wesley and some folks and some attorneys across the state is the maintenance of effort funding for the school system. If you look from 2012 to 2019, we've lost, I've got the exact number here, it's 1,464 students. The budget in 2012-2013, and all these numbers include the food at the time because that makes it consistent. They've removed the food. But if you look at them, in 2012-2013, the budget was $89,456,556 for 10,952 students. In 2018-2019, the budget was $89,111,937 for 9,488 students. That's down 1,464 students, but the money only dropped $300,000. The maintenance effort we provided Sullivan County Schools last year was in excess, above and beyond $12 million of what we had to by law. Think about that, folks. The problem with maintenance effort is this. Once you give it, you have to continue giving it. So that $12 million 10 years from now will be $120 million. That would pay for the jail and then some. Something to think about. This will be discussed more Tuesday. Just a quick overview. I've talked to, the same time I'm not going to get into the city maintenance effort. The same thing, I'm just going to say if I was a Kingsport City resident for what they paid over maintenance effort for the school system, I'd be infuriated over a garbage tax. They need to do their math and they will be shocked how much was spent. I'm a big proponent of education. That being said, my father's diabetic. I don't give him candy. You know, the old joke goes, you know, if you walk up to a man on the courthouse steps Monday through Thursday and give him $1, Friday he's gonna say, hey man, where's my dollar? You know, cutting money is not taking money from the students. Cutting money is holding people accountable. We're held accountable. What's bothered me is I've heard over and over, we're gonna do a tax increase, we're gonna do a tax increase. Folks, a tax increase is the last thing we need to do. This facilities plan a couple years ago was sold on the fact. We had declining.
That's probably, I think we're straying beyond.
Okay.
You were gonna tell us about the guest that you had.
Yes, sir.
Is he gonna appear before?
He will be available for call if we have any questions on the phone call.
I don't know that our rules provide for participating in our meetings electronically. Dan, will you check that out? I don't believe it does, but we'll check.
Okay, thank you.
I'd love to have him here because he's a very knowledgeable man.
All right, and he's already updated on the stuff, and I've got the number to discuss Tuesday. Thank you.
We'll check and see if our rules allow that.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Crawford, you're recognized.
Mayor, a little personal privilege here. Just so everyone will know, next month, July the 12th through the 20th, we'll be celebrating Fun Fest in Kingsport. And our Fun Fest chairman this year is Colette George, and we're happy to have her on board leading our Fun Fest for this year. But I did want to bring your attention, she had passed out tonight a program for everything that's taking place. And if you'll notice, Monday, July the 15th, about 3/4 of the way down the page, the Harmony Fun Dinner and Show, which will have the Appalachian Express Chorus singing, and a big meal will be provided at the press room down on Clinchfield Street. So I do encourage you, if you are interested, please go by the Fun Fest store and buy your tickets, or see me if you are interested in reserving a table. And if you'll notice, on the 16th, Tuesday night, we do have another performance there beginning at 6 o'clock, and you will be treated to a wonderful meal, and you'll not be disappointed in the entertainment you'll have as well, because yours truly will be there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Larry. And Commissioner George, we appreciate your taking on that tremendous responsibility, because I was around at the first Fun Fest and I saw it really good people. So we'll be praying for you as you get through that. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Hutton, you're recognized.
Hey, I just want to, I think everybody got an email some time ago about the Isaiah 117 house on luncheon this week. I'm not going to be able to be there, but they invited pastors last week, so I went. And I just want to encourage you all to go and hear what they're trying to do for kids in the foster care system. It's a no-brainer in terms of getting behind it. I don't have any direct association with them, but I was really blown away by what they're trying to do for kids in this community, and the number of kids who find themselves probably the worst day of their lives as they're placed into the foster care system. And they're basically building an Isaiah 117 house just down the road. The Discovery Church has donated property. They're looking for folks to help build this thing. They've got one near Elizabethton in Greene County and Washington County, and I think it's something we should get behind. Not necessarily as a commission, but just something for you all to be aware of. But thank you.
I would say even the commission, it'd be a great thing to be involved in. Thank you, Mark. Commissioner Ray.
Thank you, Mayor Bevel. Just to lighten the mood, I just, after Commissioner Crawford spoke, I just realized Commissioner George, Alderman George, in charge of Fun Fest George, and Pat, you don't think you can do two jobs? I just did.
Thank you. Appreciate that comment. Commissioner Stanley, is DC Stanley. You're recognized.
I would like to say thank you to Herschel and Dwight and the Cattlemen's Association.
Oh, yeah.
Last week, it was wonderful.
It's on the agenda again.
I just wanted to say.
If y'all wait for steaks, we'll cut.
I just want to say thank you.
Good deal. That's a good deal.
That's a good deal.
And thank you for remembering that, and I should want to add my thanks to it. Dwight, you're recognized.
Well, Angie again stole my thunder what I was gonna do. I appreciate y'all coming down to our meal and I had a lot of good comments and I hope everybody got to go through. If you didn't, anytime that you want to go through it and look at it and especially the back, we've got the arena in the back open for business now. So if there's anything that y'all would want to put on in the back, come talk to us. Also in the front, in our where we ate, we're leasing it out, and it's getting booked up, especially the fall with a lot of Christmas programs and stuff like that, parties and stuff like that. I know 2 weeks ago, Representative Rowe had a birthday party there, so birthday parties, receptions, weddings, whatever. We're open for business, and that's how we pay for the lights and the water bills and insurance and everything else. It's at no cost to the county, and but we do have the UT Extension offices on if you walk in the building on the left, and the county does support the UT Extension and their finances. So, but there again, this is based on youth, our 4-H, and trying to educate our youth on what farming is, where we get our food, who grows it, who processes it. You just don't go to Food City and get it. Somebody's got to plant it and grow it and bring it to us. So that's something that I think our young people really need to know and be involved in, and that's what we're trying to do. And we've got also UT Extension has got a number of programs that, anywhere, if you've got diabetes and you want to go to classes on diabetes and stuff, they've got them. And if you want to, let's say on cooking a different kind, cooking for diabetes, they've got programs on that kind of stuff. So UT Extension, it's not all about farming. They've got a lot of things that has to do with food and food preparation and healthy eating and stuff like that. So there is a lot of classes and stuff that you'd be more than welcome to come to, and you could get a schedule from them to come to some of these classes. So it's and UT Extension is funded by the state. It's through a grant at Abraham Lincoln. It's a land grant college, and UT Extension was part of it. So everything that the research and everything that the college at UT does, that's how they spread the word. It's through the 95 counties. Each county has a UT Extension in their county, and each county has to provide that space in the county. So, and that's how the research from UT is spread throughout the state of Tennessee. So it's a good system. It's been working for hundreds of years. So, but that's where it came from, and if you need information on it, and Chris Ramsey's is over it, and he's good on horticulture. If you got anything to know about shrubs or anything around your house called fruit trees, he's all the time doing grafting and stuff with fruit trees, and also the master gardeners. They're part of it. They're part of UT Extension, so you can, if you want to learn how to garden and join them, but they'd be more welcome to have you. So there again, thanks, and I appreciate y'all coming and being involved with us, and we hope that we can have something a later date. So. But again, we can do it every month if y'all want to pay for the steaks.
Steaks. Okay. Thank you, Dwight. I appreciate it. And anybody who was lucky enough to be there would certainly recommend that to their friends. I can tell you that. And so if you belong to an organization, they're looking for a place to have an event like that, please remember the Accountants Association. Mr. Jones.
Oh, I thought Ms. Blaylock was up first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did put you up there. I'm sorry.
I just want to know if this meeting, our meeting will be live streamed on Tuesday.
Will it be?
Will our meeting be live streamed on Tuesday? Will it be all the entire meeting?
If Tim shows, I bet it will be.
Will it be?
Be here, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Blaylock. Commissioner Jones, you're recognized now.
Well, I do want to thank Dwight and Herschel and Joyce for pursuing those heart monitors. That's a huge plus for this county. And I want to thank y'all for setting that up last week.
Got those heart monitors, so you need more stay.
That's right. Anybody in here can join the Cattlemen's Association. It's a really good, you don't have to be a dairy or beef farmer. Just gotta like me. But they do have, there's some really interesting meetings that go on, that UT Extension comes up, some of their officers and do presentations, and I would encourage you to talk to Dwight, find out more about that. There was an editorial in a local paper today about why we didn't fund a particular animal control program in the county. And when that program came in, we were told by their leadership there would be no tax dollars. They had private funding. This is not the Kingsport. This is a private enterprise going on. And it just really befuddles me why we get these kind of editorials put into the paper, which we dealt with that issue several years ago. A particular author said he was writing a book, and all the proceeds from that book was going to go fund that program, and that was when I was on here before. So I'm just curious of where history has turned over, and they're asking us to fund another private program.
I thank you for your comments. Commissioner George, Chairman George.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to thank Larry for mentioning FunFest and just say that FunFest is a community festival. It is 9 days. There are over 100 different activities. The majority of them are free. This is all family fun. There's a lot of great activities. Kids Central is unbelievable for the workshop for if you've got kids or grandkids, which I don't know how many don't know of, but great programs there. Last year we had folks from over 35 different states come into this region for FunFest events. There really is a lot of different things in here. If you want any information about any of the different events, please feel free to ask me. I will tell you that the bird walk, it's not where you put your chickens on a leash and walk. You're supposed to show up with binoculars, which I found out last year. Just so you all know that. And also just want to mention that right now, the underwater robotics international event, I guess, tournament is going on at the Aquatic Center in Kingsport. There are over 1,900 people in town for this. They're from 18 countries. They have interpreters from Eastman. They are all throughout this region. They're staying in hotels throughout our whole area. Everything's booked up. If you get a chance, competition was started today. It'll go on all day tomorrow and half day Saturday. This is so much over my head. I mean, this is talking about middle school and, well, 4th grade to middle school that are building robots to go underground, and then high school and college people. One group, something got torn up and they replaced their robot with the water bottles that Eastman gave them as one of their free gifts to rework the whole thing to be able to do this. They have divers there. They've got everything just to go look at. Unbelievable event happening right here in our region, and it said this is filling the hotels in this whole region. We talk about being regional. Wonderful thing. If you've got anybody that is interested at all in robotics, please go by the Aquatic Center. They've got all the tents set up. They're welcome any kind of hospitality, greeters, people. Just see a lot of people not speaking our language. This is what they're in town for. So it's a wonderful opportunity. It was going to go into MIT. They could not get ready. We did. We got it here. So it's a wonderful opportunity to do. So, and also please go through this. The Breakfast with the Balloons is fantastic to take kids and grandkids to. And I hope you all will participate. And the store opens tomorrow to buy stuff.
Thank you, Commissioner George. Commissioner Crosswhite.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Fun is coming Saturday at Warriors Path State Park. We're having Stretcher Mud. It's not ladies, it's dogs. It's going to start at, yes, I have to throw that in. It starts at 12 o'clock. prettiest, the ugliest, the one that does the most tricks, the fastest, but wonderful. We've got wonderful trophies, and this is going to help support our animals when they need it.
You sure it's not weather?
What did you
Okay.
say the name of it was?
Strut your mutt. M-U-T-T.
For your wife.
Yes, don't bring your wife. But it will be fun. It starts at 12 o'clock.
How about you?
Thank you, Joyce.
12 o'clock at Warriors Path. Pardon? Over next to Duck Island. And I'm gonna be judged. I'm gonna be one of the judges, so you know I'll be fair. I'll give them all a medal.
Here comes the judge.
And the other thing is, Norman Love, thank you so much for coming and speak up for our veterans. Our veterans are in Murfreesboro right now, having their state convention, and I think our commander's gonna be the state commander this year, and, they're doing service officer work, which I didn't get to go, I didn't wanna miss this meeting, but, people like Norman's ones that make sure these veterans get what they want. I just wanna thank him again for coming. Thank you, Norman.
Thank you. Commissioner Vance, you're recognized.
Well, the Bahamas' taxes is 12%, by the way, it's called that, in the Bahamas. They charge you 12% gratuity on everything, so 24%. First of all, out of Observation Off Park, July 5th, we're gonna have fireworks and concerts, and that has really grown big. If you want to come out, please come early. A lot of corporate sponsors. Second of all, most of y'all know I wasn't here last Thursday. I was in Nashville. It was a good meeting. Some of you all have some little bit of idea of what's being worked on. It's been worked on for about the last year. We had good news out of Nashville last week. We're hoping to make the official announcement next week, we're hoping. If you receive an email or an invitation, I would appreciate you all coming to that. It'll be in the upper end of the county. It's exciting news. What we've got is the opportunity. Basically, the investor is wanting to be private about it. So the state has told us they'll have the MOU back for a project in upper end of the county, which is very exciting for what that will come from this. So some of y'all may have heard some words and so forth about it. We've had to work extremely quietly to see where the state would respond if we had a project that would be really beneficial to this county for many, many years to come. Another good meeting with them, with the thumbs up, we're going to do this. So just want to let you a little bit know about it. I know you all talked amongst each other and you've heard, but that's what we went to Nashville for, and it came out to really, really good and exciting. So I'm just saying, please get involved and with the announcement because it's going to be a great thing for Sullivan County.
That's a great tease. That's a great tease. I'll be there. See what it is. Thank you, Mark. Anybody else seek recognition? I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Anybody will stay?